Can I talk about the difference between women's fiction and romance from a publisher's point of view? My name is Gina. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. This is a question that comes up in other forms kind of a lot, but I'm glad that Megan actually asked it in this way because this is a chance for me to address something that gets people very, very heated and very, very angry in the comments. Genre romance is the most structured of all of the genres. This is the story in which everybody has to have a happily ever after. The protagonist has to be in a relationship and happy about it at the end of the story in order for you to sell it as genre romance. That is the rule, the end. Nope. There's nothing else to it. However, there are a lot of stories that have romantic subplots in them, and those do not have any happily ever after requirement at the end of them. You can have people be in a relationship and unhappy about it. You can have them be not in a relationship and thrilled about it, not in a relationship and devastated by it. You can have all of the other outcomes. You could have there be no romance in the story at all in every other genre. Like romance, genre romance is the only one that has that rule. If you are writing a story that involves a female protagonist and a romantic subplot is a big part of the story, but she doesn't end up in that relationship at the end of it, there is a good chance that you are writing women's fiction. Women's fiction is a really, really dumb name for the fact that it is literary fiction written by and for women. That's it. It's literary fiction. It's so when it's a man writing this kind of a story, it's just called fiction. It is the general section of the bookstore. We call it literary fiction. It is just books. Men write books. Women write woman books. That is what is happening here when we talk about women's fiction. Women's fiction is just literary fiction by and for women. That's it. So there is no requirement of a happily ever after in a women's fiction. It is literary. It will sometimes be broken down into book club or upmarket. Those sorts of things are like subgenres underneath the literary category. And you have a ton of authors in this space. This is Jodi Picoult and Liane Moriarty. There's a whole bunch of people who are writing books in this space. They make up a huge chunk of the market. In fact, if you are out here on Book Talk, you think it is all romance all of the time. And I hate to tell you, but that industry, the number of books is bigger, but the money per book is much bigger in this women's fiction, literary fiction space. They make a lot of money per book. So if you are writing a story that has a lot of women and women's stories in it, and you identify as a woman and you have this romantic subplot that is not a genre romance, there's a very good chance you are writing what is going to be called women's fiction.